Now, we're going to get into the part of the conversation now where our two worlds really overlap, and that's property. And I've been involved in a few of your property transactions, buying and selling, and I would like to first discuss a little bit residential property, buying and selling of it, and then we're going to look at rental properties. But residential property, you've bought, you've sold, and I just want to have a look at being a consumer. We've had some experts now on the podcast in the property realm, an estate agent, but you are and you've been just a buyer of a property, a seller of a property. What did you see and learn from that in those experiences, and which one do you prefer? Do you prefer to be a buyer? Do you prefer to be a seller?
So I would say that I prefer to be a buyer. It's just a much more exciting time when you are acquiring something new rather than selling something that used to belong to you. I think, especially when it comes to residential, selling a house that you used to live in is sometimes difficult. You know, you've got memories there, especially if your small children were born into that home. You know, it's sometimes for me difficult to sell, but selling is part of it. You know, you can't necessarily always buy without selling. But if you ask me which one I prefer more, I think I prefer the buying part more, because it's just an exciting time. You know, we're looking for a new space where I am going to raise my children, where we are going to build new dreams and new memories. So I prefer the buying, definitely.
Are there, in those scenarios, things that you wish someone told you sooner? I get comments on especially TikTok quite a lot where people say, listen, I bought this property, or I sold this property, or I had this engagement with an estate agent, and I just wish someone told me sooner. Do you have examples of that?
I do have a couple. So we've been fortunate to have bought 3 residential properties. So we've moved quite a lot in the last couple of years, but we've gone through the process a couple of times. And there's a couple of things that I've learned along the way, and stuff that I wish I knew beforehand. I think one of the things that really stood out for me is, don't be ashamed or afraid to go back and go back and go back again after you've viewed a place that you want to buy. Don't feel like you are going to be a nuisance to the owner or the estate agent. Listen, in my opinion, estate agents get paid a lot, so you can give them a run around a bit. But I've just learned that sometimes it's good to go back a 3rd and a 4th time before making your final decision. Listen, this is going to be a place where it's probably going to be one of the biggest investments of your life. You're probably going to stay there for an extended period of time. And it's important to make sure that you know that the place that I'm going to buy is a place that I really want to live in. I've got a good example. We looked at a piece of property just outside of town, beautiful home, a little small holding. And the first time we went, everything looked amazing, and we loved it. And we loved it so much that we said we wanted to go back a second time. And the second time we went back, we even loved it more. And we started thinking, okay, how are we going to afford this, starting to get our ducks in a row? And we said, listen, let's just go one last time. We went the 3rd time. The wind was blowing from a different direction than the previous time. And we could definitely get the smell of a pig farm that was about 1 kilometer away. And the moment we opened the door, my little daughter started gagging. She couldn't take the smell. And in that moment, I knew that we cannot buy this property. You know, I cannot have a child that's gagging the whole day if the wind blows the wrong way. And we would have completely missed that if we only went once. You know, so I want to encourage people to go and go again, and you know, check if the toilets are flushing. And I bought the place a while back, and once we moved in, I realized that these toilets don't flush. You know, so go and flush the toilets. Walk around. Make sure you know what you are buying, because it's. I mean, if you want to buy a car, you're going to test drive it. You're going to see how it works. You're going to maybe spend an extended period of time in that. How much more shouldn't you just spend some time in the house before you just make an offer? Walk around, take half an hour, and make sure it ticks the boxes that you want it to be ticked.
That's a great point. And I'm reminded of when my wife and we bought our property, and we didn't know anything. We just did it because I think most people in South Africa, it's just part of your journey. Finish school, study, get married, buy a property, and you go on. And we moved in, and some of the taps weren't working. And you're stuck with that. Now you have to fix it or whatever. I didn't even think about, now we have the Annexure B, you have to declare what's working, what's not working, or you can sue the previous owner, whatever the case might be. But we just, okay, this is how it is. And sometimes it's simple things. And I think we get so involved in the emotions of buying a property. We walk in and yes, we love this, and we can see our kids growing up here, and we don't check anything. We don't check if the toilet's flush or the taps are working or switch on the things. We're just so involved in the emotions, and we don't want to disturb the people. They were walking there, the tannie is walking with you and checking everything you do. You actually just want to get out as soon as possible. And sometimes I think we do more research with a cell phone or a car we're buying than this 2 million expense. And we just do it. So I think that is such a good principle. I've never even thought about it. Just go twice, go 3 times, go and check it again. And you mentioned the other day, is this, when you get home, you can't even remember, was there cupboards in the room? Things like that, and things that would be actually so integral part of your daily lives, just to make sure everything is as you want it.